Now, I hear people say once in a while that relapsing is all part of the process. It's all part of the recovery process. And every time I hear that, I say bullshit. It's not part of any process. Now, people do get sober and then choose to put a drink or a drug in them. I get that, but you don't have to do that to get sober. Now, think about it. You're sober, and in order to stay sober, you go back out and drink or use drugs again. Does that even make sense? And then you hope that if you're out there drinking, that something bad doesn't happen to you, which maybe led you into an AA room or a jail cell, or trouble with your marriage, or you lost your job. And if you're into the drugs, the same problems, right? Maybe you overdosed. So you want me to believe that in order to be sober or to be clean, you have to get drunk again or get high again. No. And it's usually people that follow that it's all part of recovery bullshit, is usually people who try to get sober time and time and time again and failed time and time and time again. Why? And this is the part that's going to piss a lot of people off, because they chose to put another drink in themselves, or they put a drug in them. They chose it. Now, that always aggravates people. I mean, I can see somebody right now getting really upset, but it's the truth. If you have any time in sobriety, meaning you're pretty clear-headed, okay? And then a challenge happens in your life, and you're faced with either handling that problem or maybe even a joy, but you feel like drinking again. There's a bunch of other things you can do besides put a drink in you, but you choose to drink, or you choose to put a drug in you, when there's other things you could have possibly done. Right? So no, it is not part of the process. It's just people who, for whatever reason, haven't understood yet why they shouldn't put a drink or a drug in them. It all boils down to that. I've been sober a long time. I've had challenges throughout my life in sobriety where, once in a while, the thought of mentally escaping by using alcohol sounded good briefly, but I said, there ain't no fucking way I'm doing that. And either I went through the misery I had to go through, or I, somehow was able to manage the situation that I was in, but I didn't put a drink in me. And I know many people that have so many challenges going on in their life, but they never picked up a drink or a drug after they had to put it down. And I never heard them. But this idea, again, that the relapse is part of recovery is bullshit. Most of the time, it also comes from people who are involved with treatment centers, I think, or some type of counseling, because it gives them an out. Let's say I'm going to talk with somebody about my drinking, and we're working a 12-step program, and we're working whatever they want me to work with them. And all of a sudden, things are going really good, really good, really good. And that counselor feels good about themselves. Then all of a sudden, fuck, I'm going to go have a drink. And then the next week, I come in and say, I screwed up. Yeah, I picked up a drink and went out, got loaded, went back home, got in a fight with my wife, girlfriend, whatever the hell it is. And then the counselor gets to say, well, listen, that's all part of the process. At least you're back here. You know you did wrong. Now let's start fresh again. Right? Or the drug addict comes in and says, well, you know, I was out and I ran into a buddy of mine, and next thing I knew, you know, I was shooting up again. And, you know, I was out of commission for a couple of days, but, you know, I wanted to come back in and talk to you. Well, at least you're here. Good news. You know, it's all part of the process. No, it's not part of the process, especially for that addict. Because whatever hell he shot up, that may have taken his life right then and there. Because it happens. And I know it happens. Because it happened to somebody very close to me. So when I do these videos, it's not because I think I know it all. It's not because I think I'm, you know, trying to be cocky or anything like that. It's because I've seen the damage that alcohol and drugs has done to people. And it's bad enough that there are people hurting out there looking for help, and then they go someplace and the people are supposed to be helping them, telling them, yeah, it's okay if you drink again or drug again. It's part of the process. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're telling them to go do that. But once in a while, or almost every time, you got to call the person out on their bullshit. You know, look at it this way. Alcohol and drug abuse, it's all about a relationship, right? So if you're in a relationship and your spouse goes out and cheats on you, then you find out, go to counseling, or you talk about it, and I'm never going to do that again. I learned my lesson. Okay. You give them another chance, or her another chance. All of a sudden, they do it again. So you're going to tell them, well, it's all part of the process of us getting back together again for a healthy marriage. You know, cheating is, you know, part of a healthy marriage. I guess for some people it is, but we're not going to talk about those people. But I think you understand where I'm coming from. You can't be the person who tells a person who abuses alcohol or drugs that it's okay if they end up going back out and drinking or using again. I mean, I'm not saying you got to be an asshole to them, but I am saying you got to let them know that, no, that's not how this works here. If you're going to get sober, you're going to stay sober, unless you don't want to stay sober. If you don't want to be sober, or you don't want to be clean, then don't waste anybody's fucking time, including yours. Go out and enjoy your life, I guess, drinking or drugging. But to play these mind games, especially with yourself, makes no sense. And I know there's going to be people, you know, listening to this going, oh my God, this guy doesn't understand. It's a disease it's pulling these people to him. Fuck, bullshit. I've been around this crap way too long. And I know there's a certain group of people that want to, you know, hold hands together and sing Kumbaya. We're all drug addicts. We're all alcoholics. We all love each other. And we're going to pick each other up when we all fall down. Well, too many of them, when they fall down, can't get back up. And a lot of times it's because of the garbage that they've been hearing from other people telling them it's okay to behave that way once again, because we'll be here to pick you up. But too many times, like I just said, you don't get that chance to pick them up. So stop with this nonsense of telling people it's okay if you relapse. It's part of the process. Help them if they relapse. I'm not saying don't help them, but don't tell them it's okay, that it's part of it. Because look at it this way. I'm going to use drinking again. Maybe the guy's got 6 months sober. He's having a tough time one night, and he can't get a hold of anybody. Maybe he wants to talk to somebody, or maybe he doesn't even want to talk to somebody, but he wants to drink. But he knows he shouldn't. But then he just heard that one meeting where somebody says, relapsing, that's all part of the process. It happens a lot. We hope that the person comes back. Maybe that's the only thing that person remembers. Then he goes and grabs himself a drink. Because, hey, after all, these smart people that are in the rooms of AA or NA or wherever they're going for help says, yeah, it's part of the process. Picks up again or shoots up. You got to be careful what you tell people. Be there to help them, but don't hurt them by telling them it's okay. Just come back again. Remember what I always say, don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what.